the guys that you mentioned, obviously, they were there at the beginning of your career. But let's talk about the rivalries, in a sense, the rivalries you had to what we're watching today, the Sinner Alcaraz, and what you might think is going to play out here at this Australian Open.
That's, I think, why we're here. We're here to see what happens. And as we know about sports, anything can happen. There's favorites, obviously, but still, now that the draw is out, I think every player shifts their view to that one player and nothing else almost, and you enter the zone of, okay, the next 3, 4, 5 days, however long you have before that first round starts mattering clearly. And the rivalry between Alcaraz and Sinner, I think, is a great one. I mean, they play incredible tennis. I think that French Open final was unreal. I think the game, not that it needed it, but I think it was great that we had it. Because I feel like for a second, for a moment, the world stood still in the sporting world and watched towards Paris and what was going on. In that epic fifth set, because it could have ended much, much sooner for Yannick, obviously. And then all of a sudden, it just ended up in this most crazy fashion, made it one of the greatest games, we've ever had in our sport. So I think it's good we still live off that momentum, and then they backed it up by playing each other in all those other finals. And everybody else is trying to keep up, and they're still trying to pull away, because what we've seen in terms of their progression in the last years, it's been wonderful. I practiced with both guys a little bit, and they're incredible ball strikers, and there's obviously more to come. I just hope they stay injury-free, obviously.
You yourself, in trying to complete all 4 majors, had Roland Garros as the difficult one, and the longer that you have to wait to do that, more pressure builds. Yeah. How do you see Carlos here at trying to do that at the AO?
You shouldn't ask those questions, because you know how it is, He knows about it. It's like Rory going for the Masters, those things are tough, But at the end of the day, like I said, his momentum shifts towards the first round. And then it's point-for-point mentality, that's what it is. But it's true, at his young age, to be able to complete the calendar or career Grand Slam already now, would be crazy. So let's see if he is able to do crazy this week. And I hope he does, because for the game, again, that would be an unbelievable special moment. But, he has another 100 and whatever players that say, we don't agree with those plans. So they'll try everything to stop him.
I might just open up to a few questions on the floor, if I can. Just down here.
Welcome to Melbourne.
Thank you.
Roger. Now that you are on the other side of the fence, what do you notice about the Australian Open that you couldn't see before?
I've just arrived, So, look, I think I was aware of how much, work goes in it on the outside, and I guess maybe through the perspective of the Laver Cup, that we run together with Tony, and I'm very involved. And when you become sort of more on the tournament organizer side, you realize the details, that the AO has to go through to accommodate all the media, all the players, all the sponsors, the fans, tournament schedule. I was just in the tournament office, and he goes, do you have any requests for your match? Because draw comes out, and players and agents and everybody storms the office and goes okay, can my player play then, and this and that? We all have had it before. So you need thick skin, to go through 3 weeks of an Australian Open. And then you hope for the weather to be good, and you hope that, the ball kids and the lines people, I don't know if there's lines people anymore, but that they all have a good time, So, there's a lot that goes into it. And I think also on the innovative side, I like what the AO has always tried to do. I feel like the AO has always tried to stay close to the players, and still that is the case. I feel like, obviously I've been gone a little bit from the game now, the last 3-5 years now, ever since I've been here. So it's hard for me to exactly say more about that.
Thank
you. Hey, David.
As somebody who has been part of a couple of incredible rivalries yourself, and now witnessing a new one with Carlos and Yannick, and your vantage point at Laver Cup and watching generally, do you find sometimes that you end up assessing their games from your vantage point as what it would have been like to play against them, and what do you see when you're looking at them?
At Wimbledon, when Grigor was playing against Yannick and I was sitting there, that made it easy to think how it could have been, because Grigor plays very similar to how I played. So that, I think, was one of the first times I thought, like, how would it have been to play Yannick in a match situation? When I saw Yannick play against Novak in Shanghai, I didn't feel that way. I was just watching great tennis because they both play very different to how I play. Carlos, when I see him, I see more like, okay, I feel like there's more similarities in terms of what we would do, in terms of when we would hit a drop shot, when we would come to the net, how offensive, how passive do we decide to play, because I think we like to play on our terms. So I put myself more into Carlos's mindset and skin when I watch him. And with Sinner, just at one time, I thought, like, okay, now I understand how I would probably play against Yannick. But other than that, I'm very happy, and I love watching tennis just as a fan. It's always been the case, even when I was still on tour. Unless it was my next round opponent, I would kind of try to suss out some strengths and weaknesses. But other than that, if I would go out and watch Rafa play against a second round opponent, I would just enjoy the match, you know, because I think it's important to also be still the fan and not just always the competitor. And today, you know, I'm relaxed. I'm really removed of everything, but sometimes it's happened like that.
Roger, Sebastián Varela for Clay. What is special about Joao Fonseca? Do you think he could be potentially that third guy between the rivalry between Carlos and Yannick? What's your opinion?
You don't want to be the third guy. You want to be the guy. You know, I mean, for anybody. I mean, I would think that that's hopefully what he's thinking. You know, of course, you don't want to get carried away and think too far ahead. But like in our time, when people say, like, oh, I'm going to try to win the Australian Open, but, you know, there is all the other legends in the room. Sometimes I felt the media almost didn't allow them to speak up, you know, but I feel like anybody in the draw should come here and say, like, I want to win the Australian Open. It should be totally allowed, and same for Joao. I hope he has that mindset, to be honest. And I think what separates him from a lot of the other guys in the draw is just his power, forehand, backhand, serve, and just what he's able to bring that point for point, you know. And he's exciting. He's got good aura. I feel he's a very likable character as well. And I like watching him play, to be honest. I briefly met him at the Labour Cup. I saw him also courtside and also from the back, and it was impressive to see. And obviously, I just think he's more a little bit like me in the sense that he just needs a little bit more time to work on his game and know, like actually similar to Yannick as well, to know when to dial back and when to unload his shots, you know. And once he's going to figure that out. Obviously, sky's the limit, you know. And but obviously, I think he's truly one of the guys who can compete for the biggest wins.
Carol?
If I would coach, well, never say never. But Edberg said the same. But I'm very busy, and yeah, I got 4 children, and no chance for the moment.
Carol?
Hi, Roger. Now that it's been a little while, has being away from the game been tougher than you thought it would be, or easier?
Much easier. Yeah. I think it's also just the way my end unfolded, you know, with the injuries, playing less and less and less. So I got a sense of how it maybe is going to be. How is it going to be at home, and how is it going to be without any matches and any practice sessions that going to feed, you know, the next tournament and so forth. So I think I was kind of really super ready for retirement. So when it happened, it was more just a relief for me to not having to wonder where I'm going to retire, how I'm going to retire, how is it going to feel. Actually, I was just like, okay, I don't have to play along with the media, not tell lies, but like, how you feeling? I feel great. Oh my God, I'm feeling terrible. You know, my parents calling me and say, like, you know, when are you going to announce it? You know, your godfather's asking me, like, how you feeling? And I know how you're feeling, but can I tell him because it might leak? And I'm like, oh, geez. So these things are just, you're just happy when it's all sorted out. And life's been great, to be honest. You know, I've been getting used to retirement in the first sort of maybe 6 months, 9 months, because we still had a lot of plans that were still there because I didn't know I was going to retire in that particular moment at the Laver Cup, sort of 3 months earlier. And then I think since a year, especially 2 years, I'd say now, I feel like I'm very much in control of my schedule, and we're having a great time with the children, with Mirka, and we're loving it. So it's been great fun.
Last one, Russell.
Roger, I don't know if you saw at the end of last year that Serena Williams has added herself to the drug testing register, so she's inviting those 6 a.m. doping calls again.
Those are fun, I tell you. Well, you can also make it 5 p.m. if you want to. They can still come up at 6 a.m.
But go for the 6 a.m. slot. But I wonder what you think of the prospect, therefore, of her coming back and playing competitively again, whether it's singles or doubles in her mid-40s.
I mean, I heard that she entered the doping probe, but then I heard that she said she's not coming back, or I don't know.
We just wonder why she would put her name down for those calls if she wasn't thinking about coming back at least.
She missed those things, I don't know. It's so much fun for us, to always think about it. That was one of the big things why I was happy to retire at the end. It's not to have that in the back of my mind. I mean, obviously for the game it would be incredible, I mean, Serena's such a legend to come back. Especially also as a mom, that story like with Belinda, I don't know, it resonates with everyone, in the room. But if she decides not to do it, or just maybe give herself an option, it's great to have options in life, in my opinion. Let's see what she does and wait for an announcement or not, and then we'll see.
04, 06, 07, 10, 17, 18... 6 times, that's a lot to have a favourite memory, but do you have one of coming back and winning?
I guess it has to be 17, just because of the way it ended in the finals against Rafa. It was surreal. I came here with no expectations. I just talked about it in one of the interviews I did before. I was maybe going to be happy with the quarters. I think Seve, my coach, secretly, and Ivan, they were believing that I could do it. I was more like, not 17 in the world, not having played 6 months and all that. Then I played really well at the Hopman Cup. I remember came here feeling good, but still I knew I had a tough draw. I knew I had to go through some big guys to even get anywhere close to winning. So and then I think just the way the finals played out kind of makes it maybe one of the most special runs I've ever had in my career.
Do you remember that point, 4-3, juice?
Of course.
In that final set?
I've seen it many, many times, and all my friends send it to me, and it's on the algorithm of people I know, and it keeps on coming through. So, it's a nice point, maybe one of the most important ones I've had in my career. What a match, and what a celebration, what a moment.
It's a nice little segue for me, because what a point.
Yeah.
Innovation is something that the Australian Open has been known for. Did you keep your eyes across what happened last night in the one-point slam?
I didn't see it live, unfortunately, because I was at dinner and everything. But then I watched actually highlights. I came back and some people asked me, did you see it? I was like, no, I haven't seen it yet. So I went on YouTube and started checking everything out, and took like a half an hour to look at all the highlights, who double faulted, who didn't. Anyway, it was hilarious. Because I've played the one-point tournaments myself at charity events and also exhibition or weddings of friends and stuff like that. We've done it.
Dude, that's a nice
won
gift,
some,
isn't
lost some, obviously. And I like how everybody gets incredibly tight, and it was good to see everybody feeling that way as well yesterday.
You've come out for the opening ceremony, a new event that hasn't been done at any Grand Slam before, and that's going on Saturday night. It must be nice to sort of come back and relax, but be able to really say goodbye. That's what that event is really, in a way, for you about that moment that you didn't get here, but also to open the tournament. Tell us about how you feel.
I feel good to rip the Band-Aid off and show up on a big court like here at Rod Laver Arena and get out there, because it's too easy and too convenient just to stay home and just say like I don't need to do it. So I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm here. I'm happy there's a moment for the crowd, for me personally, but then also just being on the court with Leighton, that I share so much with, Pat, that I always loved playing against, even though I never beat him, but I always loved Pat. He was one of my favorite players. And then Andre, I was fortunate enough to play against him, I think like about 10 times or so. So just being together with those guys is going to make me feel better as well. And then I just ran into the Rocket again. You know, it's just nice to see legends like him being here and knowing that that's also going to be the week. It's not just the match on its own, and plus what's going to happen before or after, how I'm going to feel, but everything that goes into it. And then that's why I said, kiddies, you got to come along. My parents are also here, so we made it a whole big nostalgia trip, and I'm happy I'm here, and we did that trip.
Do you get into the nostalgia? Do you really think about all of those things? Do you really appreciate what you have achieved in your career now that it's no longer on the court?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't carry that with me through my life. It's but of course, it gets triggered by a lot of questions like what you're asking me right now, or when I do interviews. But I don't do many interviews anymore, so I don't get triggered very often anymore about what has happened and what is going on, you know. But it's nice to go back into the memory bank and realize actually how much there has been, and my memories are very, how do you say, very content, you know. And but then again, also I say, like, if I would have won half of what I've done, I would be equally proud sitting here, because I achieved way more than I ever thought I would, and the run and the time that I've had is what stands out to me. It's been so much fun. It's been great. Loved it, with family, without family, Mirka throughout, my parents throughout. You know, it's been terrific, and it's been a dream, truly.